Welcome. Today's restorative yoga practice is going to focus on the concept of the potential in a seed and how this is similar to our own seed potential. So I brought some of my magical beans from the garden, and these are green bean seeds that every year, if I plant the green beans, and there's some that get left behind, the plants produce these wonderful seeds and they just rest all winter and then they're ready for sprouting in the spring again. So I thought that would be good for us today, is to awaken the spring potential and seed potential in each of us. Find yourself in a comfortable position and just take a moment to relax your shoulders and relax the muscles around your eyes. Settling in to this beautiful moment that is yours. Letting your breath wash over your whole body. I'll invite 3 sounds of the bell to help us transition from what comes before our practice and all the things that will come after. Bringing your awareness to your in-breath. Bringing your awareness to the breath flowing out of you. In and out. All the potential that is in you, awaiting to be awakened in the spring. And we'll start with a pranayama practice, 3-part breath, Durga pranayama. If you wish, bring your hands gently to your belly and just notice the softness of your body, the feeling as the breath comes in and out. The life source within you. And we'll start to elongate our breath in 3 parts. So we'll draw in our breath to our belly, our chest, our collarbone. Pausing at the top with the fullness, and then exhaling through open lips if you wish to start. Collarbone, chest, and belly. Let's try that 3-part breath again. Belly, chest, collarbone. Pausing at the top of the in-breath and then exhaling gently. Collarbone, chest, and belly. And see if you can do that quietly to yourself with your own breath rhythm for a few moments. Very nice. And continue your breath. I'm going to share with you a small poem from the book All Along You Were Blooming, Thoughts for Boundless Living by Morgan Harper Nichols. And while I read, let your breath flow naturally, starting by scanning your body from the crown of your head all the way down through the base of your spine and through your feet. And see where you can soften in areas where there might be any tension. Here's the poem. You've picked petals without regard for their stems, leaving them stripped of their color. And when you saw what you had done, you ran and ran and ran eastbound through the deserts to hide, never to return to flowers again. A new day is calling you to stumble into the sunlight where old ways of thinking are made right, so you can be at peace, to roam through flowery fields again. For mercy is always louder than sharp cries of shame. It knows where you have been, but still calls you by your name, inviting you to step forward with the boldness to begin, a way of living that gives freedom, and to sow new seeds into the earth again. And now we'll start to make our way down to the ground very gently into a fetal curl, and place something beneath your knees. And this is a tucked in version. It is Balasana, but it's a little tucked in. Sometimes this is referred to as embryo pose. So knees can be together, feet flat on the ground. And you're going to place your hands facing upside, your palms are facing up. The tops of your hands are flat to the ground, and start to gently come down to the ground, resting your head, your forehead. If your forehead can't reach, you can place a block or something else underneath. Sometimes you'll notice it reaches the ground and sometimes not so much. And let yourself melt into the earth like a little seed. Maybe bring the tips of your thumbs to touch the edges of your feet. And notice the sensation. Where there is longing, exhale the longing into the earth. Where there is resistance, exhale the resistance into the earth. So much potential in your small seed body, waiting to sprout. And I'll share with you, while you rest and ground, a little excerpt from the book, The Seed Underground, A Growing Revolution to Save Food by Janice Ray. I want to tell you about the most hopeful thing in the world. It is a seed. In the era of dying, it is all life. Every piece of information necessary to that plant for its natural time on earth is encoded. Even though the world is changing and new information will be needed, but we don't know what is in a seed. Its knowledge is invisible, encased, secret. A seed can contain any number of surprises. A seed can contain a whole tree encrypted in its secret vault. Seeds are everywhere, and no one thinks of them, tiny bundles waiting to be opened. Most any seed is small enough to hide in a locket, and some are so small they get latched between two teeth. They are on our forks, between the cracks of sidewalk and cobblestones of streets, under trees, on trees. They are in the wind, rolling along the desert, in our hair, in the fur of animals, in our dogs' feet. And start to open your seed body into Balasana. So start to spread your knees wide, big toes are touching, and reach forward, grounding with your breath, and letting your seed body start to stretch toward the light, toward the source of water. Feel the opening in your hips. Feel the grounding where the tips of the top of your toes touch the ground and your forehead holds you to the earth. Stretch your finger pads wide and reach a tiny bit further and feel the opening in the top of your back. Imagine your seed body, all that is you, plumping with water and reaching toward the sun. And now start to bring your hands by your face and come onto your knees in tabletop pose. Press into the earth and lift through your shoulder blades so that you really feel all the muscles along your spine growing and getting strong. And now bring your feet up and start to twist so that you're opening on your right side body. You're stretching the sprouts of you laterally. Look over your left shoulder. And now soften a bit. So where were you clenching and forcing? Breathe into your right ribs. And now gently turn your head and your feet over to the right and look over your right shoulder and feel the opening in your left side body. And press into your shoulders. Relax the back of your neck and soften your gaze. Deep, nourishing breaths into the left side body as your sprout grows. Now come back to center and place your feet flat on the ground. And this is a good time, if you had a blanket under you, to bring it to the side. So we'll extend our right leg back. And again, lengthen through the top of the crown and start some gentle movement. So pretend that your right foot is one of the little roots, tiny hair roots. And start to just gently open the calf muscles, stretching the calf. Let's add some movement so we can bring the right leg up and extend the left arm, balancing pose. We've done this recently. Maybe you're wobbling. And Pull inwards, creating your little seed body again, and then stretching out for potential. It says bird dog pose. And pulling in, and then lengthening and extending. 3 more times. Pull in and extend. And in and extend. And place left hand down and right knee down. And let's drop our belly, gently looking up, and then stretching back up into our cat pose. And just releasing any tension in the lower back. Curling up towards sunlight and rounding down. Excellent. And we'll repeat that on the other side before shifting into some other poses. So left leg extends back. Slight movement with the left calf. Being really gentle here because you want to make sure that you're not doing any movements that could cause pain or any discomfort. And press up into the shoulders if you're starting to feel that. Now we'll lift the left leg just to be parallel to the ground, and also lift right arm. Balancing here for a moment, feeling the strength really in all parts of the body. Notice where you feel the strength. And now curling in, right elbow to left knee, and reaching out 5 times at your own pace. Focusing on the process of the movement versus the shape of the body. And letting your breath lead your movement. And now bring right hand down and left knee down. And we'll turn the wrists upside down and just let a little bit of the pressure out. So now you're kind of balancing on your knuckles. And you can circle very gently around in one direction and very gently around in the other. Tuck your toes under and come up for a moment and just create some movement with your wrists that feels good. So maybe it's a circular movement or a dancing movement, but anything to just open the wrists and create some fluidity. Maybe it's rain pittering, pattering down. When you're ready, return to your knees. Right leg is going to come back. And we're going to start to hinge. I'm going to actually turn my body. We're going to start to hinge and open. So the right foot, your right leg is straight and your right foot is going to start to come down to the ground. The left leg will start to hinge out. And raise your right arm up to the sky. We're going to create a gate pose, so opening the garden gate. And now come up and flow over to the right side. Parigrasana. Parigrasana is gate latch pose. And feel the nice stretch in the left side body. And then we'll flow down to the ground again. And this time, a gape pose, which is to extend the right arm by the right ear. And then right arm can find the ground, right knee can come in, and we're back to table. And we'll do that opening gate pose in the other direction. So bring your left leg back and strengthen through the right arm and start to open up to the sky, up to the sunlight with your left arm. And you can allow your right foot to act like a little tripod if it wants to come around slightly. Deep inhale, opening through the left side body. Feel the opening in the left shoulder. Now we'll take a deep inhale and rise up. And then flow over to the left. Now feeling opening in the right side body. Letting the right arm flow down to the ground again. And your left arm now reaches and extends right past your left ear. Great side body stretches, good for the liver. And good if you intend to go out in the garden later. Now let's bring our legs down to the ground. We're back in table and we'll just do a little bit more of letting our belly sink and rising up. Cat-cow. Inhaling, looking up. Breath leading movement. Exhale, press the rounding of your seed potential up to the sky. One more time. And this time, let's start to lean forward so that we're coming into Sphinx pose. So reach your hands out in front of you and open your finger pads wide. Relax your shoulders. See if you can breathe into your lower back. Chin is pointed slightly forward and gaze is soft. And now lower your head down to the ground and bring your hands by your chest and rise up with your in-breath. And we'll do this 3-part breath like we did at the beginning, Durga. But this time, you're going to feel it into the ground as you breathe. So lift 1, 2, 3, and exhale 1, 2, 3. And then inhale, and maybe each time you're going to come a little bit higher. 2, 3. This is all Bhujangasana or Cobra pose, wherever you end up. 1, 2, 3. So you might like to do baby cobras. 1, 2, 3. Or you might like to do a greater extension.
Make sure in between the lifting and the coming down to the ground that you build in moments of pause where you just let all of your body melt into the earth. One last time. 1, 2, 3, and exhaling. 1, 2, 3. And let your hips come side to side now, releasing from the lower back. And we'll start to press up to downward facing dog if this is in your practice. If this is not in your practice, you can return to Balasana, child's pose, or you can leverage the back of a chair or a wall to get the shoulder extension and the upper channels of the back, that feeling of opening. And listen to your body as you come into whatever posture feels like it is what your body wants. If you're in traditional downward facing dog, maybe it feels good to pedal your heels, again stretching the calf muscle from earlier. Our seed potential now has grown. We're starting to pop up through the soil, and our roots are strong. And all the energy channels through our seed body are flowing. I'm imagining a pea seed in the spring when it pops open, and there's that green sprout. And maybe the green sprout is extending right between your shoulder blades and up towards the sky. And now crisscross your legs and gently come to the front of your mat in a forward fold. Knees are bent if your hamstrings are tighter. And bring your hands around the backs of your calves so that you're tucking yourself back into that seed body. And then open your hands and rise to halfway lift. You can have your arms out behind you. You can have your hands on your hips. You can have your hands on your shins, whatever feels good. And then exhale and fold forward again into that seed body. And if you wish more for micro movement, you can just practice being in your seed body and just stretching your knees to straighten your legs slightly. So more of a pulsating. But wherever you are, release all that and let your hands just hang in ragdoll. And then find your hands to your feet and pitter-patter your way up the front of your legs, awakening your lymphatic system till you find your knees, and then scoop and come up with your nose first. Very nice. And take a moment to find your Tadasana or mountain pose. Feet are firmly rooted to the earth. Shoulders come up and down and back. Open your hands. Strong mountain. And if you were a seed, you are now a plant. You have sprouted and grown towards the sun, and your roots are strong. And just breathe here. Very nice. And we'll do some
sun salutations, and we'll grow upon those. So we'll start with half sun, and then we'll move a little bit further into our mindfulness of movement practice. So come to the top of your mat. And sweep your arms up towards the sun, slight back bend, and then open your arms wide and fold down to the ground.
So you're back to that curled seed position.
Halfway lift with your inhale, flat back and fold. And sweeping back up again. And now you're back up to the sky and bend back slightly before you bring your hands together in Anjali Mudra into your heart. And now sweep up. Inhaling, slight back bend, folding forward, let your fingertips rain. Hands find the ground and halfway lift. See if you can make this a flow. Exhaling to the ground and sweeping back up again. Slight back bend, fingertips meet, coming down the meridian of the body. You exhale and back to Anjali Mudra. One more time before we build on this. Sweep up and fold, rain, coming to the earth. Halfway lift with grace and exhale to the ground and sweeping back up again. Hands come to heart center. And now adding on, sweeping up and raining down. Halfway lift, full inhale, and hands come back to the ground. Bring your right leg back. So left knee is bent. Inhale here. And now hands firmly plant and bring your left leg back so you're in plank. Feel the strength in your body. Knees come to the ground, feet are flat. Tuck your elbows and lower your chin to the earth, and then sweeping up, upward facing dog, and tuck your toes under, press up to downward facing dog. 3 breaths. One more. Raise your right foot to the sky and then bring it forward, back into that runner's lunge. And now pop your left foot forward and you're back in your curled seed body and rise up. Very nice. Hands come down to the heart. And we'll do that on the other side. That's half of a sun salutation A. Sweeping up and fold. Halfway lift and fold. Exhaling. Left foot back. Right leg is bent. Look up. Hands plant on the ground and the right foot finds left foot. And we're back in plank. Feel the strength of your body. And you can lower your knees to the ground if you wish. Or you can tip forward on your toes, tuck your elbows, and bring yourself to the ground. Rising up, looking up,
And then tucking toes under, exhaling back to downward facing dog. Left leg comes up. Left knee comes forward. You might have to help it get there. Feel the strength in your legs. Hands plant to the ground, and right foot pops back next to left foot. If you liked that feeling of being curled into a little seed, you can again grasp your outer elbows behind your calves. But either way, we're going to start to rise up. Returning to standing. Very nice job. And now we'll make a dandelion blossom with our bodies. So bring your right foot behind your left foot. Shoulders come up and down, and raise your arms up to the sky. And grasp your left wrist with your right hand gently, and start to twist over to the right. Your dandelion body. Dandelions are actually full of nutrients. I'm not sure why people think they're weeds. You can eat the flowers, the leaves, the roots. Vitamin C. And then reaching up to the sky and unfurling. Bring left foot now behind right foot, reaching up, lengthening, and left wrist will grasp left hands will grasp right wrist. And now we will arch the opposite way, again, lengthening through the right side body, really opening your ribs and stretching your dandelion flower towards the sun. Beautiful. And now we'll open back up wide. And with our feet placed a little wider than hips, let's reach up and then open your flower to the right. So feel the lengthening, especially along your right shoulder. And breathe here for a moment. And then reaching up and opening to the left. Let's do that one more time on each side. So bringing yourself forward again. Deep inhale up and open to the right. Your flower petals are really welcoming in sunlight and even a bit of wind. And sweeping up and opening to the left. And coming back to the center. And just swaying a little bit to release anything, any tensions that we might be storing as we move through the different asana. So let's do tree pose next, Vrikasana. My mouth is just having such a hard time with the Sanskrit terms, so if you're watching this video and that is your native language, much apologies on my side for not saying your words properly. I'll have to practice that more. So tree pose. We're going to start to bring our weight into our left foot and bring our right foot over to our ankle.
Just starting here and finding a drishti, finding balance. And if we wish, we can start to rise our right foot up to our calf, or maybe you wish to bring your right foot all the way up to your inner thigh and focus on pressing your left leg, the left inner thigh, into the right foot. It's a way to find balance. Find a place that's not moving, a focal point, a drishti. And then your hands can come anywhere that feels good to you. So it might be back in Anjali Mudra by the heart. Or you might wish to grow your tree up towards the sunlight, towards the sky, and maybe to play with the energy between your fingertips. So not letting your fingertips touch and feeling the warmth and the potential of your body. And maybe later today, if you can go into the forest and go for a walk and do some forest bathing, go close to a tree and see if you bring your hands close like this, but not touching, see if you can feel the same prana, the energy, the chi, the warmth, life force. And now open the branches of your tree and bring your arms down. And let your right leg gently come to the ground. And again, sway out any tensions. You can let your hands find your lower back. There are some energy points there that a little tiny thunk can actually be very good for your immune system. Gentle thunks. And if that doesn't feel good to you, then don't do that. And then let yourself slowly come to stillness. And now find your right foot where it joins to the earth. And pause in the beauty of this moment as you ground through the right foot as if it was the trunk of your tree, and the strength in your roots. Now let your left toe find the earth and your left heel find your inner ankle, calf area. Not rushing the process. Not thinking about where we're going to go next, but actually enjoying this moment. And then if you wish, you can start to bring your tree pose up to the inner thigh. Again, pressing the right inner thigh into the left foot. And noticing the wobble and being okay with the wobble. And finding a place now of balance and whatever works for your body in this moment. Whatever lifts you, whatever steadies you. Tune into all your senses. What do you feel in your body? maybe the coolness of wind if you have an open window. What do you hear in this space around you? Maybe bird song. Or the happy sounds of life around where you have created a little sanctuary. Can you taste and smell the vibrancy of life? And keeping your gaze, your sense of sight soft and focused on your drishti. One last deep inhale as you start to come out of your tree pose. And now we'll come to the front of our mats and stretch up to the sky. And then start to come down, letting rain pitter-patter along your legs until you're back in a little ball. So you're on your toes and wrap your hands around your shins or your opposite elbows. Coming back to your little seed ball. The potential in you. And now see if you can, without bringing your hands to the ground, start to come down. So that might look like bringing your hands forward and then starting to roll your way down to the ground. So that might look like extending your legs and then pulling them in and letting your spine find the earth, but bringing yourself down really slowly. And let's do that again, because sometimes we miss the beauty of coming to the earth slowly. So let's roll our way back up into the little seed ball, back on our toes. And this time, challenge yourself to go even more slowly. So reaching out and letting your heels come down, and then your bottom. And now I might be balancing in a boat pose or some other form. And then I start to roll my way down, vertebra by vertebra, until I'm flat to the ground. Hug your hands around your opposite elbows and around your shins and roll a little bit, releasing tension and anxiety that it gets stored in the lower back. Loving what your body can do for you. When you're gentle with it and set aside some time. And if you wish, raise your legs up and playing with the garden theme. You can do a little plow if you would like to. So plow is where we start to raise up, making a tripod under the backs of our pelvis with our hands, and then maybe lowering our legs down to the ground behind us. And I won't do the full extension of this because that doesn't feel good to my body. So I'm just going to be more of on a shoulder stand. But if you wish, you can bring your legs back. And they might even touch the ground. And then curl them in and make sure you come down very slowly to the ground And we'll need to release that. So bring your hands to your knees and do some opening of the hips, making sure you're massaging the lower back. Yeah, even that little bit of plow is not resonating well with my body. I try it, but I get kind of a lower back spasm from that. So this will probably be the last class I attempt that in again. Every time I go in with openness, as I teach you to listen to your body, I too will listen to mine. So I'm going to add in a side twist. Knees can be bent, and we'll roll our knees to the right. Arms can be in T, or if you wish for more of a stretching of your arms, or we'll pretend still there are roots, you can reach up over your head with your left arm. And then coming back to center and maybe continuing to roll the lower back and over to the left side. Maybe feeling a really nice stretch in the right hip, outer right pelvis, upper back piriformis area. Very, very nice. And we'll come back to the center. And now you can choose anything that you feel like your body needs. You can do a pose that we already did or something new. And ask your body, what do you need right now? My body is enjoying a little happy baby movement, releasing in the lower back. Any of this rolling on the lower back is actually you're massaging out anxiety and tension. So how wonderful is that? And maybe you just wish to hug yourself like a little seed. And love on your body for a few more moments. But wherever you are, start to bring your feet down to the earth and start to gather anything that would make your Shavasana, your final resting pose, really nurturing and wonderful for you. This is the part of the practice that we will allow all the nutrients of the practice to wash over us. So if your body is starting to cool, bring a blanket over yourself and tuck yourself in. Maybe a pillow beneath the knees and lower down to the ground. And you can have two choices today. It might feel good to stretch your toes and your hands up to the sky one last time. And by the sky, it could be overhead in both directions, or it could be up. But then bring your hands down by your sides so your palms are facing up.
Or you can have one hand to heart and one hand to belly. Whatever feels most nourishing to you. So find your Shavasana, your resting pose. And I'll share with you one final reading from Mark Nepo's book, The Book of Awakening. Within young leaves, wrapped within young leaves, the sound of water, by Soseki. This delicate observation by this Japanese poet is filled with the quiet hope that embedded in our nature, even as we begin, is our gift already unfolded. Embedded in the seed is the blossom. Embedded in the womb is the child fully grown. Embedded in the impulse to care is the peace of love realized. Embedded in the edge of risk and fear is the authenticity that makes life worth living. Wrapped within young leaves is the sound of water that will nourish them once they have opened. It's already there, prompting them to unfold and grow. To believe that this is possible requires a faith in currents larger than any one mind can envision. But that is not such a difficult thing to accept. For as the dust owes its path to wind, we as human beings are asked to acknowledge that something larger encircles us and prompts us to unfold. There is a gravity of spirit that pulls the essence of who we are into being. Our job, like all our sister creatures, is to find the abundance of air and water and light, and to unfold what is already within us. Lie quietly, imagining your heart is that of a young leaf, green and tender, wrapped unto itself. And as you breathe, feel the water of life already in your veins. And now, as you breathe, outstretch what is you and feel who you are unfold. So let your seed potential start to come back to this moment and start to wiggle your fingers and toes and roll gently to one side. Deep, nourishing breaths. And when you're ready, come back to seated. And we'll invoke 2 sounds of the bell as we return back to the rest of our day, closing our practice together. Feeling the seed's potential within you. And being open to the wondrous possibilities that may come. Thank you so much for practicing today together, and may you have a lovely rest of your day. I bow and say namaste to you.
Namaste.